I wish that I could tell you what it was that drew me to my very first Bionicle set all the way back in 2001. I wanted to talk today about what I would consider my white whale from my Bionicle collection. And the crazy thing is, it's not terribly uncommon. We'll get to it in a moment. The very first Bionicle set that I got back in 2001 was Tahu Mata, and I talked about this recently in another video, but to summarize here, it was a Tahu set that I bought off of a display in the Action Alley of a very specific Walmart that I know where it still is today, although today it's a super center now, but at the time it wasn't. It was just a little guy out there. And it's still there. I remember not only where I bought it, but exactly where in the store it was. It's lovely. I remember which direction I was, all of that. This is probably the day of my life that I remember the most, which might be one reason I'm so nostalgic, not only for this set, but it really solidified my love for Bionicle, because I can't remember any day like this. I remember going home, taking that canister home when I got it, ripping it open and dumping its contents onto the concrete floor in my basement, lights off and everything, just using the daylight to see, while my mom is down there sweeping and stuff over in the corner. It was lovely. It was something very special about it. The thing is, I still have Tahu. Not that original Tahu, of course. I've lost my collection multiple times, but I do have the original mask that I had since 2001. It's very special to me, and that mask is still in incredible condition, thankfully. It's not the set that's special, per se. Like, if I didn't have it, of course I would want it. If I ever got rid of my Bionicle collection, Tahu Mata is the one I would keep. But what I don't have from that day is the canister. That is my white whale. If you're not familiar, if you weren't lucky enough to open up the Bionicle canisters back in 2001, something that's very special about them that was never repeated is that they had a sleeve around the outside that you could rotate to see some different information on the models, on the masks they wore, and so on. That was always quite lovely to me. The thing is, getting canisters is not terribly uncommon. I can go to a specific store nearby and ask, and if they have one, they'll just give it to me. It's great. But the sleeve, that's what I want. I don't need a sealed copy of Tahu. I'm not looking for one. But someday in the future, I will own a Tahu Mata canister with the original lid, with the sleeve intact, maybe instructions or any other little cards of advertisements, paper that went inside the original CD. I don't even care as much about that stuff. Just that canister. And I'm not somebody who collects Bionicle canisters at all. That one's very special to me. I remember my first Bionicle set, and I could probably remember my first set from nearly every single wave of Bionicle. I remember my second set was Gali Mata. I remember my third was Pohatu Mata. My first Borak was Korak, the white one. Let's see, my first Borak Va was Parak Va, I believe. The little brown one with the hammer. Loved that guy. Actually, did not get the Turaga originally because I didn't even know they were a thing. Even though it's, I had Tahu Mata. I had the poster that came with it. I should have seen it on there. Never crossed my mind. Didn't even notice. My first McDonald's Matoran was Matoro, which I did not get in 2001 for the McDonald's Happy Meal toys because I didn't get any of those. I didn't know they were a thing either, and that was a pretty short-lived promotion. I got my Matoro, Little McDonald's Matoran, from a garage sale in the neighborhood next to ours for 25 cents. Oh, what it was like to be alive back then. Let's see. My first Toa Nuva was Tahu Nuva, although the first one I saw was Liwa Nuva, and I loved that set so much. And I loved Tahu Mata. I remember seeing the display that you could rotate the character in the store. It was just so lovely and fantastic. My first Rakshi set was Gurak, and that one was especially cool because it came out, where I got it anyway, before they were officially released. So I actually got Gurak before the Rakshi hit store shelves. And the main reason for that was because I got it at an Aldi's, of all places. Aldi, not known at least at that time for carrying toys, and rarely carrying toys today. A Gurak of all things. Lovely. As far as I can recall, they only had two. They had the blue and the black one. That was it. I grabbed that blue one, man. Love that one. Still my favorite one to this day, too. And that blue color, just lovely. My first Toametru was Vakama. My first Borak cow was Tanak cow, even though Tanak was my last Borak. And my first Vaki was... What is the name of the brown one? No, it wasn't the brown one. My bad. It was the white one, then it was the brown one. Could not tell you the names of those. I never bothered to remember them. Let's see, my first Hordika, Vakama Hordika, often went with the red ones, kind of out of tradition after getting Tahu Mata. My first Anika, though, was Matoro, because I loved that sword. It looked so cool. And his mask at the time looked pretty neat, too. It wasn't symmetric the way that many other white masks were before. Let's see. My first Paraka was Raidak, however you pronounce his name, and then it was Thok after that. Let's see. My first Mari set was Kongu. Couldn't tell you why I bought him first, other than I loved the look of that mask. Still do. It's a great mask. My first Baraki was Karapar, and I had this really interesting thing with Karapar too, because I distinctly remember, like, deja vu, having seen it before I saw it. You know what I mean? Something about Karapar and his shape that I just knew intimately before I ever got that set. And I love that color combination. Man, that dark orange, or I guess dark yellow, Keat orange, whatever, and smoky trans black together. Nothing looks like that. It's so good. It looks so organic and real. I love it. My first of the Fantoka was Pohatu, and then Antraz. And let's see, my first Glatorian was Malum. I wanted it to be Vorox, but I could not find Vorox for the life of me, so I bought Malum first. Malum was a good one. Yeah, I think that's every canister set, the very first one I bought of each. For Titans, I'll save that for a different video. Yep, my white whale. Tahu Mata's canister with the original sleeve. That's basically it. And the lid, of course. Anyway, that's it for this one. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe. I'm still continuing to recover, but I'm getting there. I feel a lot less crappy. I hurt less, so that's good. And yeah, it's all uphill from here. Take care.